Hello, fellow heroes. I'm Action Smacchan, the 2-in-1 hero made up of a virus from the 70s and a guy who likes to play things. I'm here with my pal,
Blue Infinity 22.
And today we have the man himself with the huge bazongas, Mecha 64zilla. Everybody, welcome our guy. And Mecha, why don't you tell us about yourself for those who are somehow not familiar with you?
How you guys doing? I'm Mecha 64zilla. I am a Touhou comic book creator-ish. Is that the right thing to say? I don't know.
Sure.
I made a lot of Touhou videos. I made a lot of videos about talking about comic books, mainly Batman stuff.
Yeah, honestly, if you're a fan of the Action Smacchan main channel, you might also be a fan of Mecha. So it is like an absolute honor to have him over on the channel finally. It's like a match made in heaven. But yeah, let's go ahead and start us off with the way that we always do in the Pixel Smacchan. Wait, what was this called? I named this podcast recently. It's the Hero Virus Pixel podcast. We're going to do it by talking about the games that we played recently, as we always do every week. Mecha, what have you been playing recently?
Sadly, I have not been playing a lot of games. I've just been playing Overwatch lately.
Ooh, Overwatch. I heard that they got like some what's it called, Transformer skins recently.
They just released it at the time of this recording today.
Oh, literally today. Ooh, look at me, up
Literally
to date. Up to date on things that I don't play. Tell us about that. Have you gotten them?
No, I am decided because I'm a big Transformers fan, and I'm deciding should I get these or not because first off, they did an amazing job with the skins, but I am a very picky person, and some of the skins do not look good to me. All right.
Sometimes it's hard to. Yeah, it does. So many skins already. But yeah, at least we could assume that at some point recently Mecha was playing Overwatch.
Yes.
Transformers skins pending. How about Blue? What have you been playing lately?
For the last week, last few days, I've been playing the Great Ace Attorney.
Ooh.
and I finished the Ezio collection again.
Ooh, continuing with your Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's actually so. I'm a big fan of Altair, the first assassin. His game felt the most like an Assassin's Creed to me. Like the games are objectively better after that. Like the first game is so bare bones. Like once you look back at it, compared to where it's come. But the first one's feeling is so much more, because Ezio, he actually what's it called in the hero's journey, where he actually rejected the call, the hero's call. He full on declined wanting to be an assassin and turned it down and rejected it every step of the way. His was a revenge story. And so whereas with Altair, he was so much into the assassin life that he eventually was punished for his overzealousness, and his was a redemption and learning story. So in Revelations, they retcon a little bit of Altair, and they also replaced his voice, which was a little sad. But you switch between playing as Altair and Ezio is just a fantastic character. Really fun, really actually quite wise by the end of it. You really do see his whole life through the trilogy, and it's very compelling. And I do like how it ended by the end, where he passes on the torch, which was really cool. And Altair going on a full redemption for his for how he was in his youth. And then with Great Ace Attorney, I can see why this game is usually considered by most the best of the entire franchise.
Ooh, the best one.
Yeah, it really does grip you. If I remember right, this is the guy who created Ace Attorney. He actually only did the first game, and it was Capcom having another team do the rest of the series. for like the Apollo trilogy, and then the next two Ace Attorney games, if I remember right.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, I might be off on that, but I do recall that he wasn't involved in the Apollo series at the very least. But he is the one that was behind the Great Ace Attorney games, and you really do feel the difference.
The return.
Yeah, I do believe that like his games weren't very successful, which is like kind of why they didn't really continue with him, I think. But I might have to relook into that, because that's also why they never came here until this recent re-release on the Switch. So, but yeah, it's been really gripping, and it's really kind of brought me back into like my obsession with like puzzles, detective, and mysteries.
Oh yeah, everybody loves a good detective story.
Oh, I certainly do.
In fact, isn't like Case Closed one of your favorites?
Yeah, it is my favorite anime. Yeah.
Like number one favorite.
Yes.
I need to catch up with Case Closed. I'm way behind.
Most of us are. I think I'm 748 episodes behind. I'm only on episode like 430 out of the 1,200.
1,200.
Yeah, I think it has 12 more episodes than One Piece right now.
Gosh, I'm more caught up with One Piece.
Yeah.
For the record, I've only seen a couple episodes of One Piece on 4Kids.
I mean, that's how you cheat with One Piece. You gotta start with 4Kids, and that's how you catch up.
Yeah. I've watched the whole series in English, like all that's available, 4 times, and then in the watching the sub, I'm up to I think like 430 or something like that.
Did this man say 4 times?
Yeah, like through my life. Yeah.
I like did the math in my head. I was like, wait.
I think there's 113 English episodes.
Ooh.
So.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I really did like the cast, because this was back at like the original like Funimation. So this was at the same time as they were doing Yu Yu Hakusho.
Mm-hmm.
So like literally at the same time. So it's the same actors as well. So it was very well done. And like even if you watch it with the Japanese subs, there's not a lot of alterations either. So it's very nice. How like faithful they were with a lot of it, and like the cast was very on point, and it was very fun also hearing like those old voice actors again.
I can't really remember that much about the how the 4Kids One Piece dub sounded like, so immediately like Zoro sounded like Kuwabara to me.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Luffy! I was like, wow, this is a different flavor.
Yeah, when I got to hear like some of them are like so unfitting, but they're just like, look, we need someone who sounds different for a character, because like they would have like really large casts in some of the episodes for Case Close. It's like, oh crap, we really need someone to sound different. So you just hear like the most unfitting actor they could find, just as long as they sounded different. So you just hear like you hear like the Kuwabara voice in like one of the old women. And it's like it's only for like a single episode, and it's like a side character that speaks like one sentence, but you like after you like watch for another like 20 seconds, you pause like, wait a minute, did I just
gosh, early 2000s dubs were so charming. They're not good, but they're good.
Yeah.
It was an experience, all right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Let's see here, but we should talk about video games, shouldn't we? It is a video game podcast. What have I been playing lately? I recently just got Trails Through Daybreak. I just got this game called Blue Reflection, and I hope you guys play it. And there's this little game called Kirby's Dream Land 3.
who got mentioned today in Sakurai's.
But in all seriousness, I played a little bit of Trails Through Daybreak that just came out recently. I haven't been fully indoctrinated into the Trails franchise.
With the blue-haired maid character, right?
Blue-haired maid, I hope so. That sounds awesome. I don't know who you're talking about though, but it's
okay. Then it's probably not. There's a Trails game that one of my friends is like starting to speedrun, and I can't remember if that's the one or not. It probably isn't though.
I don't know, but your friend needs to share. But the character designs are pretty dope. there was this lady with really, really tight pants. And I had to take a second to think about it. Like, wow, they designed this and modeled this and put the shaders on. Boy, did they put those shaders on. But anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was Daybreak.
Oh, was Daybreak? They're already speedrunning this? So this one came out like a week ago, dude.
The Japanese version's been out for years.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, she's been running the Japanese version.
Okay, fair enough. That way she's not cheating at all.
Yeah, I was doing notes for like edits for the English because they kept a lot of the cool like tricks.
The cool tricks. Yep. The cool blue-haired maid tricks. My favorite tricks.
Matrix. I love that.
Matrix.
But yeah, since we've already updated each other on what we're doing with our thumbs, let's go ahead and go into today's topic. So, the Marvel vs. Capcom collection is on its way, dropping the jaws of veteran fighting game fans. However, those who aren't fans of the genre may not know how incredible the announcement is. Perhaps they would understand the hype if they were better indoctrinated into fighting game fever. What would you recommend to get them into it? Let's go ahead and start with Mecha. Get us started.
Don't worry, guys. We will take you for a ride.
If that didn't put a shock through your system, you ain't playing games correctly.
When you were reading the prompt, I thought you were going to say they might appreciate more if they were better at games.
They might appreciate it more if they got good.
I like my eyes widened for a second. I'm like, whoa, we really are getting into the spirit of fighting games. Maybe if they got good, they were...
Maybe if they weren't just a bunch of scrubs, they'd be excited.
I was like, so welcome to our host, Low Tier God. Like,
Step one to get into fighting games, get into the trash talk.
Yeah. Oh man, that was amazing. Okay, go on.
Mecha, take this away from us.
I lost my train of thought.
we got mixed up already.
Yes. Okay. Okay, I think for traditional fighting games, with like Chrono Circles, all that, Guilty Gear is getting very popular nowadays. So I think that's a good start to get into.
Oh heck yeah!
Especially since new anime is coming out.
Oh yeah, the very fitting anime that really should have existed a long time ago.
Yeah.
How far back of Guilty Gear have you played, Mecha? Like in the series?
XR was my first game I've ever played, so not that long ago.
Yeah, it's pretty long ago now that I count the whiskers on my face. But back in I think it was Guilty Gear X, they had like the opening movie that was like animated. And like they put like the trailer for it in X2, and I used to watch it all the time because it did come with like the hokey 2000s dub, and you have 2000s dub Kaikisk and 2000s dub Soul, and Faust. I remember hearing Faust. The doctor is in. It was so classic. Kai with oh no, I'm falling. Do recommend. But oh my gosh, that being said, I have been a fan of Guilty Gear for a long time. May has been my girlfriend for a very long time, Mecha.
I still remember at Primo's house, you and him versing each other on his PS2 in the loft, or whatever the side room was. Just on the big TVs, you just going at it every round.
Yeah, those are good times. And that was a whole lot of, because my brother plays Bridget. So we were the OG May versus Bridget matchup.
Actually, speaking of Bridget, she's definitely became the icon of Guilty Gear recently.
Right? The soul bad guy, take a hike, it's Bridget time.
Yeah. I literally talked to a person on another Discord server, and they told me they started playing Guilty Gear because of Bridget.
Bridget is a cute character, though.
Yeah, the Bridget Nation is taking over.
Has absolutely taken over, and Bridget has so much merchandise. Oh my gosh, so many figures. I'm almost jealous. Almost. I got exactly one May.
I'm almost broke. Thanks to all the Bridget figures.
Well, that's why you should have considered not going into the Bridget Nation there, Mecha. It's expensive. But no, it's really cool that Bridget is actually getting this much attention, because like just right before Strive, we're all like, you know who doesn't exist? Bridget. Because I'm pretty sure Bridget was not about to have this many fans like a couple years ago. Definitely didn't have it during like X2, because all she did was tickle people with the yo-yo.
No, I recently got into X2, and I could tell you Bridget is not a top tier. Everyone is using, what's the name, Holy Soul or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, that was the character.
But yeah, Bridget's aside, I do think that that Strive has been a pretty good entry point for a lot of people then, right?
Yeah.
Although
also the soundtrack is amazing too.
Yeah, that's for like the entire series. You could pretty much say, you could even be all like, so remember that one track of Guilty Gear Iska? Boy. But having like more songs with like vocals in it in Strive is pretty freaking amazing. Like, I am absolutely one of those guys that are going down the highway jamming to Alfeld's theme.
That's been stuck in my head. So when Elfo came out, that's been stuck in my head for at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks, Mecha. I'm still going, man. It's still on. It's on right now. They made it so dang catchy. But yeah, but for me, like, X2 is definitely like the iconic game for the franchise with all the most listen toable music. But you know, that's just me. Could be nostalgia because I'm old. Certified old. But I will be honest though, I don't actually know how to play Strive. There's like 3 different kinds of bursts, and I'm like, I just want to get out of being hit.
Honestly, me either. I've been not paying attention to the burst. I've been focusing on winning combos and stuff.
And I barely do combos. I just hit really hard with an anchor until I can hit it again. Literally, when Schreier came out, like I think like a couple weeks ago, I've been just like playing his I've been playing X2 because I never played Slayer until recently, and I love him. Oh, Slayer is so cool, just like as a character, he's so cool. Yeah, I know. He ragdolls his wife all the time. Especially Strive is like so much fun, even if Strive has like not that many expression moves as the past games. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what I do like about Guilty Gear is that like they never like gave into doing like the auto combos. You have to like input everything. Oh yeah. So it is a pretty good entry point for those who want to get rugged real fast. Oh, no training wheels on this one, guys. Just go in, get good. Get good. Learn how to do your quarter circles, man. But yeah, just visually, auditorially, just the presentation of Guilty Gear, I totally agree. If you want to get into fighting games, get into the Arxis games, it's a good place to start, especially, you know, with how accessible Strive is. Actually, the entire series pretty much is pretty accessible. You can get Guilty Gear 1. If for some reason you want to get Guilty Gear 1, you can get Guilty Gear 1 on the...
Guilty Gear 1.
Get Guilty Gear 1.
I tried Guilty Gear 1, and I played it for 5 minutes. Uninstall quickly.
The Guilty Gear 1 is insane. You can just go in and start off with a dang.
I have a full health bar. Next thing I know, it's gone.
Yes. You can play Guilty Gear for all of 5 seconds. You could hear all the crushed up sound effects because they they crushed up those sound effects. Those are the most muffled up sounds, but man, the background music, banging.
I might be dead, but at least I have some good music at my funeral.
I'm dead, but the jams, bro. Guilty Gear, good pick, Mecha. How about let's hear from Blue. What are you thinking over there, Blue, stewing?
So I'm ready for my hot takes.
Get spicy already. First one.
So
We live for
this game is at least to the fighting game community pretty hated, like significantly hated. It's all of the negative reviews on its game page.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, but I think it's an incredibly good starting point for learning fighting games. It's Phantom Breaker Omnia. It is like heavily negative reviewed on Steam if you were to go to look, and like not for like no reason. It's a very simple fighting game, like very simple. It's like if Smash Bros were a 2D fighter, that's what this game is. Where even you know how you normally do inputs for like quarter circles and all that, this one is just like Smash Bros. Forward special, down special, neutral special. And then it has the same for its physical attacks. And you can even make it even more simple where when you pick your character, it has styles where you can remove one of your combo extensions for more health and heavier damage. So you can even make it like a 2-hit combo in most cases, and it automatically guards if you don't put an input in. So it's literally I pressed a button situation where that's the only way you'll get hit is if you press a button.
Darn it, I tried to hit you.
Yeah, and it has it's got a lot of personality, great aesthetic, great music. The characters are really cool. One of the negative reviews though is that since it's a re-release where they added stuff, the added characters are a completely different art style than the original cast. So like the original cast are 2D sprites. The new characters are 3D models. With like the anime aesthetic, like like Fighter Z kind of thing, where they put like anime colors to try to make it look 2D. And so that can be a little jarring for some people. And the new characters are more combo focused, as if like they were listening to that kind of criticism where so like a lot of like people who are into like anime fighters, heavy combos, touch of death, or like lots of block stringing needed. This game doesn't have like almost any of that. So it's very easy to get into, very easy to pick up and play. A lot of people who hate fighting games that I've shown it were able to play it pretty competently, because they don't have to worry about like guarding too heavily, because if they don't do anything, it guards. But it also means that you can still break it by doing lows when they're guarding high, even automatically. So it's kind of similar to with where it's like you should never technically lose to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, even if they have like an advantage. Kind of like the auto combo arguments for like Persona 4 Arena, where it does less damage, and even if they spam it, like you should. It's an auto combo. You know what the string is going to be. But yeah, like it, and so like with those styles, it makes it even easier where they can like they're not good at combos, so they just go with the hard, like it's quick, hard, and omni. So you go with hard, where you usually will only get like 2-hit combos, but it gives you higher health, more defense, and higher attack. So yeah, like I think it's a really good entry point, and it has a lot of like flair, a lot of flash. It's pretty recent re-release too, so it's constantly on sale on Steam as well. Like I think right now it's even on sale for like the deluxe edition, but it's like $20 I think at max price. or something like
Max
that.
price.
Yeah,
$20. That's too much.
yeah. But yeah, if you were to go to like its Steam page, you'll see nothing but negative reviews, and they're not like unfounded, because like I said, there's no like, you're not going to see like a 20 hit like string and things like that. But yeah, it's got a lot of defensive options. I think like you can even slow down time using your special meter as well. So, which does also lift the combo limiter, so you can actually do those 20 hit combos. I think BlazBlue Cross Tag had a similar feature where you could like be faster or slow down time. I could be misremembering that. Yeah, so I think it's a great starting point for fighters for a lot of people. But yeah, I know it's kind of like, I'm reading some of these reviews now, and they're like, "This is garbage," and I'm like, "Ooh."
It's like, if you're Blue Infinity 22 talking about this on a podcast, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And that's the review of the game.
And like, it does have a couple like glaring issues. Like the command list is not in like when you pause. I think if you pause the mid fight, the command list isn't there. Like, you actually have to go to the menu to like look through the character bios.
Oh wow!
But I mean, it's like there's not a lot of combos, because it's like
just push the buttons and figure it out.
Forward A.
Forward A.
Yeah. It's like, where's my projectile? Hold forward and press A. So yeah, there's not a lot of complexity, but it is really fun to be able to sit there. And if you do like enjoy it, it has a beat 'em up game. The controls are 1-to-1 exactly the same. There is not a single difference in the controls for the fighting game and the beat 'em up. So if you're someone who's even played Phantom Burger Battlegrounds, you already know the full controls of the actual fighting game. So it's even more appealing in that regard.
It's the same, but you are small.
Yeah, exactly. You have a lot more airtime.
You do get a lot more airtime, but honestly, I do think, because I only played it a couple times, but I did like it. And if I could remember how the comeback mechanics work, I do remember thinking, like, when I actually did learn how to do it for like an hour, I was all like, oh, these mechanics are actually pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, like there's so many defensive options, and I think it's the only game that has multiple different dash attacks. There's 3 dash attacks for each character, and each one gives a different amount of armor. So it's got a couple things that is unlike anything else, and like it has I think it was before a lot of other games where it has multiple out of like block options. Like, you can actually do like in Persona 4 Arena where you can dash, or like you press a button to switch sides behind, where you get invincibility by going in the background to go around them. It has that already. It has evasion, like in Budokai, where you would press the defend, where you would like defend, and you would actually like sidestep the attacks. So it's got a lot of like defensive options that is pretty surprising for how simple the like offense is. But I think any sort of like complexity is just, I think, is a benefit to it as well, especially with like the styles where it's like, if you're going to be doing heavier hit, like you're able to pick like the hulking grapple character in the less combo, higher damage, which is already high damage, no combos as it is. So you're only like getting more benefit to it. So it's good to see a lot of these options that it has. So yeah, I think it's pretty slept on, and I honestly obviously underrated since it's negatively reviewed. But
yeah, honestly, I don't think it deserves to be so hated. I did think that the different styles added a certain level of depth that I wish I had more time to explore. But I haven't been able to play it with anybody.
Yeah, and like it is true that it doesn't explain a lot of this stuff like out of the box. I think there's not even like a tutorial mode in the game. Like, it literally is a plug and play fighting game, like just like true to its like kind of like the original like Street Fighter 2. You just plug it in and you play. There's no real like explanations or tutorials or anything like that. So it is something that like you would want to like play with your friends, and you guys kind of like learn it together, or you could even like go to that glossary and go to the character profiles and kind of see where like things like, or just play around, like experiment, like literally, like it's such a like a lost art these days of just like experimenting instead of like, you know, looking stuff up ahead of time, you know, seeing what the pros are using, tier lists, or just like you just play with the style, see what their combos are, play around with the different styles, see, all right, what does this extra attack do for me in setting up for like a super or a finisher, like things like that. Like it really is fun to play around with, and like I said, the aesthetics are very nice. But it does feel a bit stiffer than a lot of other games. Like I do remember there's one character where he's a hand-to-hand combat, and I swear like his hitbox is in front of his nose. It's but you see him like swing a fist, and I'm just like, this feels awful. But it could just not be my character, so I just hit start and I switch to a different character.
Well, you see, like the problem with that kind of like experimentation in modern games, Blue, is that you have to lose.
Yeah.
And losing is for losers, Blue.
That's why. I guess that's why it appeals to me so well.
But honestly, there is like some merit to how fun it is to like go into unexplored territory for fighting games. Because, you know, you could go in and, you know, read an entire map of how to play Fox in Melee. What you do with that Kirby, though?
Yeah.
To the point where back when I was playing Melee competitively, I tried to actually kind of go for being the best Kirby in in the area. Because first of all, that means I only really had to beat like 2 other dudes.
I was gonna say, you probably were by default.
Not quite. Chudat was actually in in the same region. I think it was Chu. Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, he messed around with Kirby too. and that guy's like top 32. Evo, you know. But whatever, Chudat, come see me in the Kirby dittos. don't yeah. But
and it feels like I guess like with like looking at the reviews for it, where it's there's it seems like the fighting games tend to lean more into the esports competitive flashiness, like visually. So like a lot of the more like grounded traditional, even kind of like Street Fighter's gone in that direction as well. Whereas so like this kind of game, it's not super appealing to the faster pace that fighting games tend to be these days. So it's one that where it really is like an entry point for a fighting game where it's very low, like I guess stress kind of fighting games where mistakes aren't punishable by losing the whole match, since there's a cap to what you can do. So matches tend to be a little longer as well because you can't actually like do a touch of death in the game.
Oh, you weren't expecting to get good and chill.
Yeah.
All right. Pretty interesting pick. Yeah, pretty interesting pick, Blue. Honestly, I would expect no less from Blue Infinity to change himself.
It's like, wow, what a dumb pick. All right, so anyway, back to the real fighters.
Time for the real fighters. Let me tell you guys. Blue. All right, but honestly, my first pick is not actually that different from yours, because my first pick was actually Blade Strangers, which does honestly a whole lot similar gameplay. Its approach to controls is pretty similar to Phantom Breaker. Yeah, where you have basically, you know, all the same inputs for all the characters. It's just a special button, and you know what I mean.
These are all the 3DS eShop characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a crossover game.
Yeah, it's a crossover game. And then I was like, oh, there's Shovel. Shovel, like when I click on it and he's there, like, oh, hello.
Yeah, you get
so my friend, he's a big fan of Binding of Isaac, and I told him that, do you know that Isaac is in a fighting game? He looked at me weird, like, what?
What? Mecha, it's time for us to play games again. But yeah, it is in addition to being, you know, simple to control, it is also a hipster indie RPG crossover.
Project Cross Zone.
Project Cross Zone. That is not a fighting game, but it's but
More
it
sequels
is,
needed.
More sequels needed. They need to give us Namco cross Capcom. That's what they need to give us.
There are so many possibilities for that.
But yeah, what's it called? Blade Strangers. I actually haven't played it that much, but it's one of those games that I look at and I'm all like, I really want to play it more. Because the time that I did play it, I was having a pretty good time. I do like its approach to auto combos. It doesn't go straight fully into like a super. It's pretty similar to like what Blue was saying for Phantom Breaker. It's a whole lot like Smash Bros, but as a 2D fighter. I guess I don't remember it having as much defensive options as Phantom Breaker. I remember it being a whole lot more straightforward. But that's just to add more to the simplicity for the entry point for those who are just trying to get into the genre. And again, as a crossover, there are a whole lot of fans for Shovel Knight. I think that was a pretty popular game. Same thing as Cave Story. It has like Cave Story characters. So it's again pretty similar to Smash Bros, where you could just come in and try out a character that you like. It could be Isaac, cry on people.
Funny thing is that I'm looking at the reviews and it's almost like the same as what Phantom Breaker did, only they put recommended.
It's like it does everything that Phantom Breaker does, but we like it.
Yeah, but there's like everything, but there's Cave Story at least. Like, yeah, like it's crazy. Like right here it says, Blade Stranger is probably one of the most casual fighting games I've ever played. Recommend, like positive rating. What the?
And it's even the same person that did the Phantom Breaker.
Yeah, so it's like it's literally exactly what you said. It's just like with. I'm actually bad. Like this is not fair.
But you know what, Blue? What is fighting games without a little salt, buddy?
Yeah, you're right. Oh man, we gotta settle it in Smash.
There we go. But yeah, that's my first pick. Let's circle it back to Mecha. What else you got for us?
Another one I have is just Tekken, because I think Tekken's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tekken is fairly simple. And it is a 3D. Yeah, it has a high skill ceiling, but it is fun to mash.
Yeah, it's great for button mashers. Yeah.
With Tekken, it was quite crazy. So like a few weeks ago, my internet went down, so we couldn't download Tekken 8 from my friend on my PS5. So instead, we played Tekken Tag 2 on the Wii U, and like it was fun, but you'd like die really fast, and and combos are very like methodical, kind of slow. But very timing based. And then when I finally got to play the newest Tekken, it is so much faster than like it is so fast. Like you do like how long will do like 6 hits in the time it takes 2 in Tekken Tag 2. It is so much faster. It's quite impressive just how like radically different and like updated like a true sequel can be. Like just like even in a fighting game that has as many entries as Tekken. Like there's a lot of really cool new stuff, combos, and returning, and just used in new ways in Tekken 8.
I haven't played Tekken 8 yet because I'm still waiting for the Waffle House stage.
He did say it. He did say it.
I ain't buying the game until I compare your chair at Waffle House.
Oh god, I remember he got so many tweets because of that recommendation.
This is a tried and true American tradition for brawling.
This is where the Americans go to earn glory. But I am pretty excited to eventually play Tekken 6 because I didn't get it yet. 6. Oh, 6. No, 6. I'm talking about 6.
No, I'm talking about 8.
No, I'm just kidding. That was me misspeaking. I mean, I did 8. Gosh. You just aged me up like 12 more years, Mecha. Yeah, Tekken 8, because I will eventually get Tekken 8, because Xiao Yu does play an actual kind of sort of part in the story, I think. And I adore Ling Xiao Yu. That's my girl.
Oh yeah, I love Lily. She's my favorite character, like bar none. And oh my goodness.
And Blue loves those characters that like to drink tea, have money, and laugh at you.
And speak French.
Oh yeah, she does, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She laughs in French.
Oh yeah.
That's a good French accent there, Mecha.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I'm not a fan of a lot of the outfits, the new outfits, but they have like callback ones where they're kind of like their old ones, but it's like in the new like visuals that they do. But you can create your own and try to like recreate a lot of stuff. Like it's really fun, some of the creativity that people have used.
Oh yes, for me, for Tekken, every time I play Tekken, my main, for some reason, has always been King.
I'm so bad against grapple characters. It's my
I know.
I can't do it. There's
Again, it's mainly because I'm a big wrestling fan that I just love playing as grapple characters.
Yeah, like it's crazy how bad I am against Dead or Alive. I'm bad against grapple characters. Kanji and Persona 4, I can't do it. He just jumps in the air, dives, and I'm grabbed. That's it. I can't do it.
And now we need to see the money match between Mecha and Blue.
Well, I guess I'll be ready. How much do you want from me, I guess?
Put your bets down. Who's going to win?
Although I wonder if in Tekken 8 with how much faster it is, like how much more advantage like strikes will get.
Oh yeah, and how much faster I could get thrown around. And
right.
Grabs.
I was like, that sounds like Coke, Blue.
It's like, wow, instead of 30 seconds, I lost in 2.
It's crazy. The Tekken for sure is that I would say is like one of the like currently like hottest fighting games that like you will be able to find all sorts of like guides, tutorials, advice. Like you could watch streamers, competitive events. Like there's so many resources out there right now for Tekken 8.
Yeah, Xiao Yu is hot.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, talk about the roster of the characters. Tekken has a lot of unique characters in the roster. You can play as a bear, a panda, a demon. Just name it, it's there.
Great dancer,
Jackie
chainsaw
Chan.
arms.
I do like Elisa too. Gosh, one of my favorites movies is just the Tekken Blood Friends movie. Because it's just for some reason about Xiao Yu and Elisa.
Yeah, give us more Xiao Yu. That's all we need.
That's all I need. Why did you even put any other characters in this game? Arata, what are you doing?
I'm really hoping that he allows you to change the main menu from whatever the latest DLC character is. Like he mentioned when someone asked him that he would try to implement that, because it's like it'd be cool to be able to put like either any character or be able to pick between the previous title screens. So, because right now it's just only Eddie, and you can't change it, you can't edit it. So it'd be cool to be able to put like Xiao Yu as your title screen, or be able to put Lily, or be able to put even any of the older DLC characters, the ones that already had title screens, just be able to swap between them.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd be into it.
Yeah.
And then just replace all the sounds just to Lily laughing at you.
You go to like custom outfits and change everyone into a Xiao Yu outfit.
Is that not already a feature?
Oh yes, in Tekken 9, everyone will be Xiao Yu. That's pretty much it.
Yes!
Oops, all Xiao Yu. Oops, it's just Xiao Yu.
Oh my gosh, how much of my money do you want, Harada?
It's like, all right, who are you picking? Grapple Xiao Yu?
But talking about Harada, I remember that someone asked him for Kirby to be in the game.
Harada, please.
I remember that. I don't know why that happened. It was like an early in Tekken 8, someone asked that Kirby could be in the game.
Oh, okay. Like, I would hope that they would go like the like Sonic Adventure 2 route, where it's just a giant one. It's like
just a very large Kirby.
Yeah, just like gigantic.
I remember
The size of Kuma.
I think it was around Tekken 7 or Tekken Tag 2 when Harada was talking about getting like a Filipino character before Josie was around. They I think Harada was considering getting Jollibee as a character, just like as a random thought. And for those who don't know who Jollibee is, that is a mascot for the Jollibee fast food chain.
Yeah, he actually tweeted out, I think actually yesterday,
That they are doing Jollibee?
Not quite. It mentioned, it reminded me. So somebody demanded a specific like nationality of characters to be announced, and he responded with it about basically like saying, you know, whenever you suggest something to game companies, it actually lowers the chances because they don't want to get sued for like stealing ideas. But he also mentioned the history of some of the characters he added, and that some nations' embassies actually requested characters that they've put in. And that's how they got added, is that a country's like actual like government like requested it and they got put in. I wish I had it up so I could like actually read it, but yeah, they mentioned stuff like that.
And that's how Katsuhiro Harada ended World War III.
Yeah, like they just said settle it in Tekken.
He said, "Listen, if you want world power, you better get good."
So yeah, guys, if you want a character in Tekken, just become a war nation and request it.
I need to go
just
get
elected. It's like you literally win an election just to be like, all right, now we can sit at the table. The Tekken character
just so you could have Harada have your dream character.
He's sitting there in the like starry night sky, sunglasses still on. And
I've never seen that guy's eyes. Now when I think about it,
it's actually similar with Kamiya.
I've never seen that guy outside of leather.
Yeah.
Same for me. I have never seen him without leather or glasses on.
Yeah. Yeah, Tekken 8 is definitely like a really good, like right now it's like if you wanted like a modern game that has like a newest entry with a lot of like quality of life for like learning, practicing, a lot of guides online, like it's definitely the one that you could get into and safely find anything you're looking for, I would imagine.
And it has Xiao Yu.
Yes. Take all the money. We need all the Xiao Yu players we need.
Yes. Bring them all to me.
The next Tekken season is gonna be all Xiao Yu.
I'm like, well, looks like I'm down $60 there. But yeah, Tekken's a pretty good place to start there, Mecha. All right, Blue, circling back to you. What do you recommend?
Oh, I guess also to add to the Tekken one, because I figure it's probably better to add on to it. Pokken Tournament.
Okay.
It's literally Pokemon, but Tekken. And it also has a lot of really cool, easy, like it's a lot simpler than Tekken. And obviously with the Pokemon aesthetic. And it has, it transitions from between 3D and 2D while not having a really super crazy combo list. So it allows for it's a lot easier like entry point with lower stress, but it has a lot less like active community. So, but I wanted to mention that one.
I'm kind of surprised that there isn't more of an active community for Pokken.
Last year, I think, was the last world tournament that they did. So yeah, it was really entertaining, but like matches were really fast though. It really suffered from like, I guess, like low health bar, like kind of Tekken Tag 2 kind of had as well, where health bars were you could literally die in 3 hits in Tekken Tag 2. It's actually kind of insane.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, you actually, my God. The feature in Tekken 8 where chip health comes back if you do damage is really nice. Like that, it's such a cool feature that I wonder if it's in some other fighting games, because I don't think I remember seeing that in other fighting games.
That's new to me.
Yeah, Tekken 8, if you have chip health and you're doing combos, it slowly regains that chip health back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like when I noticed it, I literally like actually a few days ago, I was actually like, whoa, that's really cool feature, because it rewards good play, which is what you expect. So but yeah, so I wanted to mention Pokken since it's the like same, I think it's like it's the same team.
Yeah, it's still Harada.
Yeah.
It's still Harada and his sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. So my next one is one that's super obvious is Super Smash Brothers. I think a lot of people got introduced to like fighting game concepts through Super Smash Brothers without even like realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I certainly did. Even to this day, you see a lot of people bring up all sorts. I had a friend, like literally just a few days ago, he's sitting there looking at websites with frame data for Smash Brothers, and just with like all the hitboxes showing animations, and just like literally studying it. You can get so in depth for like such a simple game that you wouldn't really like on this. Like nowadays you would, but like at the time you wouldn't really think too deeply on, and it also shows how natural the gameplay was for people getting into the mechanics like out of shield options, rolling, dodging, defensive options, mind games, feints, like especially when you're trying to recover, like it's basically you playing mind games with your opponent. How are you recovering? How are you returning? Hit stun, learning how that works, what combos you have access to, reaction speed. Like it really was like a really unique experience that it's almost like practicing without even realizing it. And it's one where it comes up with that concept of where you're playing with your friends and you're just trying to you both get better naturally by just like playing each other and learning the matchups, like figuring out your character's weaknesses. To the point where like nowadays Smash Brothers even takes that into consideration when developing, like how you pick the stage now first, and then the characters. So it's really fun that way, and I think it's definitely worth mentioning.
Oh yeah, for sure. But which Smash Bros personally would you recommend the most then?
For learning,
yeah,
Gotta put my Tekken cap on.
honestly, probably in the same vein as with Tekken 8, like probably the newest one has the most resources available and is like the most accessible. And then like if someone wants to try to get to even more in depth from it, then maybe going to Melee afterwards, because Melee is definitely like the highest skill ceiling of all of them. Like there's also a lot more mechanics to where you can't grab the edge when you're facing away from it. Like and you can't grab the edge when someone else is on it. Like just those two things alone make such a difference in, like, I would even say like salt for like new players, like it's really infuriating. Like I still remember how often people would get angry if you sit on the edge and they just fall through you, and they're like, that's BS.
Was that you, Blue? Was that you being
No,
salty?
I would be the one that grabbed the edge and gave people get really angry, because they're not playing it in that kind of mindset either. Like it's so it goes again where it's like how natural it feels, where you're not even like thinking about it, but you're still like learning that kind of stuff, because then they would start doing it and try to getting you, and then you're constantly raising each other's experience. So
yeah,
with it being a little faster.
Yeah, like Smash Bros tech looks really flashy, so if you see someone doing it, you're like, whoa, what's that? How do I do it? As opposed to like other things and like other kinds of fighters where it's really subtle. It's all like, oh well, I found a way to get rid of a bunch of frames by doing this input, but you could only kind of tell if you know the rhythm of the game. But when like in like Smash Bros, you do a special technique and you're like, whoa, how did he move like that?
And just with the, I guess what it has also over any of the other games mentioned so far is that the sheer volume of characters that it has, you are definitely 100% going to find somebody that you really mesh with, and you can then just take that character and just learn through that one alone, and how they work, because you now have so many matchups that you can practice against, different strategies, different play styles, that you can really get a handle, because just being good with your character is much more valuable than knowing every other character and how they match up to you, because having the fundamentals is the most important. So, and like knowing your kit and what tools you have at your disposal, that alone can help you improve in any of the fighting games.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with games like Smash Ultimate. It's so much easier to get into like a whole lot of characters, in my opinion, in like Smash Ultimate, because everything looks so. There's just like this approachability with trying different characters.
Yeah.
In Smash Bros. and in Ultimate, like specifically. Whereas in like Guilty Gear, I'm going to just play as May. Because May is the only one right now that I'm all like, yeah, I know how to play that character.
And Smash also has that aspect that we mentioned with Blade Strangers and Phantom Breaker, where it's a 3-button fighting game.
Yeah,
like your shield button, your physical attack, and your special attack.
Yeah,
button.
your inputs for the most part are going to be all the same.
Yeah, and so every character having the same inputs allows you to automatically have that knowledge when you play. So like when you're used to playing like Mario, you can switch to Kirby and you know essentially what the buttons are going to do, just how are you going to apply their unique traits.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas in like Tekken, every character's button inputs are entirely different.
Although the one problem that I kind of run into in having Smash Bros as an entry point for fighters is that there are a lot of people that are really good at Smash Bros, really good at have gotten really deep into the meta of it, but only stay in Smash Bros. They never branch out to other games.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm not sure exactly why that is, but for some reason there's just this sort of quality that just kind of has people that might even just have Smash Bros be the only game that they play.
Do you know, this is like, I don't know if you would know this. Do you know if these, so I was thinking genre maybe, but then I was thinking, do you know if people who mainly play 2D fighters also transition or branch out to 3D fighters, or do they stay in 2D fighters? Because I know the Smash community jumped onto that Multiverses, which was also a platform fighter. Because I know there's not a lot of mainstream platform fighters. So I don't know if like if 2D and 3D fighter players tend to go between them, or if they typically stay into the genre.
That's a good question. I just know that that people that I grew up with in the FGC did kind of tend to go between 2D and 3D fighters. I'm not sure if that's like necessarily a common thing. But you do have a point when it comes to Smash Bros. Players going into other platform fighters. I think part of that is just for the fact that there was such a small volume of well-made platform fighters. Yeah. It's an interesting question. If anybody has any thoughts on it, leave us your thoughts in the comments below.
There's one other thing I would add to it, but if I remember right, it'll come up again in one of my next ones that I'll bring up, so it's more relevant there, I think.
Oh, okay. I guess that means that we'll swing over to my next pick. Let's see here. We've already talked about Guilty Gear, already talked about Blade Strangers, and this one's a little bit tough, but I think it'll get people real rugged real fast if they play it. I put down KOF 2002.
Okay. King of Fighters. Okay. That's definitely a thing. It's like, hey guys, you want an easy time?
You want to get into fighters? Screw you. Get good.
I got a follow for that too. So.
But it was I largely put it in here because it was the one that got me into KOF. At least we could say that it is one of the most available KOF titles. There's just a version of KOF on almost anything. and it's one of those KOF games that I have like actually on multiple systems. I think I have it on my PS4. I have it on the dang old 360. I have it on PC. I have it for the dang old PS2.
Not to mention, you could also play as Cooler Diamond in that game.
You can't play as Cooler Diamond, and I love Cooler Diamond. Dang it! I'm not even sure if I told you, but I love my Cooler Diamond. I went to a convention recently, and I almost didn't spend money, but I went to a booth, and for some reason God told me to go look upwards, and then I just decided to look upwards. And then, gosh darn it, there was a dang old Cooler Diamond figure sitting right there. And I was like, oh, never even seen this one. Guess I'm about to lose money.
And then I left it there.
And then I said, not today, Jesus. Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. I bought the Cooler Diamond, and she looks amazingly cute. But that is a huge selling point. If you want to get into fighting games, check out Cooler Diamond. Not sure where I was going with that one, but I also play as Kensu. I like Kensu. I like the Psycho Soldiers. They're cool. They have a cool theme song. Psycho Soldiers theme song. But admittedly, at some point when you want to get into fighting games, you do have to ask yourself, do I want to actually learn how to do inputs? And boy, gosh darn it, you will have to learn inputs to play KOF 2002.
Yes. Especially KOF, there's a lot of inputs.
There's so many inputs. Movement in KOF is also pretty complex. You have so many different kinds of jumps, spacing options. But if you want to get into more complex skills that are also still applicable to many other more complex fighting games, I'd say that getting into the rugged 2002 might be a very good idea. If you want to get some blisters on that thumb, go get on it. Start right now. But then again, I guess, if you really want to go easy on yourself, you could go into the KOF 15, which does have auto combos, I guess, if you want.
Yeah.
It also
if
does
you
have
want to be a loser, you want to be a baby, use auto combos.
It does still have Cooler Diamond, and she does still look freaking adorable. Also, I am a huge big baby that chooses Cooler Diamond and also definitely absolutely uses auto combos. But I just want to tell you, I did start with KOF 2002. Listen, man, I'm old. I played this on the PS2. My thumbs aren't what they used to be. I already did the time. Just give me my combos. Let's circle back. Mecha. What other recommendations do you have for us?
So I'm pretty sure this is our first licensed game, but it's going to be Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It's very simple. It's very easy to play.
It's like Mortal Kombat, but simpler, and has Johnny Young Bush.
I would argue it's actually a lot like Marvel. Marvel 3. You can do touch of death combos. It's crazy. You can get 120 hit combos in it. It's insane, some of the combos that people can do in it.
Yes. It's so underrated, to be honest. I barely see anyone play it nowadays.
Yeah, I got all the DLC for it, and it is a lot of fun. And man, I cannot do touch of death combo. I agree with you. I played it like Street Fighter for a while, to the point where I would even use Ryu just so that I would have an edge. Use Ryu Ranger, who plays exactly like you would expect. But
yeah, it's Ryu.
Yeah,
what else do you expect?
Yeah, because it's crazy because you can play it just like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and you can even reach timeouts very frequently. But then you watch competitive, and they finish rounds in 30 seconds because of touch of death combos. It really is you get hit you put the controller down and they finish you off. It's insane. Like I'm sitting here like, welcome back, Marvel 3. Like it's just, but I can't do that. And so like when I play with my friends, we'll often reach timeouts because your health does like heal very fast in the game, like, which is nice, but your special meter fills pretty fast too.
It's only 3 bars, so it's easy to get it back easily.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a good one to like pick up and play because got a lot of charm.
I always find funny when I recommend this game and they just tell me, "Oh my god, why is Ryu from Streets here?"
Yeah, you can even and they did really good on like the costume options because you can play him in his ranger outfit without the helmet, and it is so cool. Yeah. He's got his headband and his like beard, and you're just sitting there with the ranger outfit that has his gloves on.
They also make figures of those characters as well. So I have Chun-Li on my shelf right there.
What a beautiful like design. She's I think Phoenix Ranger, right?
Yeah, Blue Phoenix Ranger.
Such a great design.
Oh, I love those designs, especially with Chun-Li's. I think it was Chun-Li's specifically that was based off of Jetman, Chojin Sentai Jetman, which just happens to be one of my favorite. Well, it's my top favorite Sentai, so I can really appreciate that.
Fun fact: that's my first Sentai.
Your first one?
That's the first Sentai I had to sit down and watched.
That's a good indoctrination. I think the first one that I sat down and tried to watch was Tokyuger. I didn't finish it, but boy, it was pretty neat. But yeah, I could definitely appreciate kind of the deep cut because it's a little bit of a deep cut if you're going into a Power Rangers game with a Jetman reference. Like less surprising if it were like, a Sentai game, but we're talking about Power Rangers. We're talking about the one with John Young Bosch in it.
Yeah, they actually have. Yeah, they have. Yeah, his.
Yeah, they actually do have John Young Bosch.
Yeah,
and you bet I'm a John Young Bosch main.
Yeah, he plays as himself. He's actually pretty difficult to play. Like,
I was having a hard time.
yeah, like I was sitting there playing, like, wow, this is really, really difficult. One cool outfit though is that they even give Ryu and Chun-Li Angel Grove outfits, which is also really cool. So you have like Ryu with like a biker's jacket and all that.
That's cool.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun, but yeah, it's such a high skill ceiling. Like it really, like you play it normally and you just do not expect to see the combos that you'll see later. And then like with the update that they did to the X Factor, which the Megazord, it's even like more intense, like what you can do with it, because I think they even allow you to use it multiple times now if you play it right. So like so imagine Marvel 3 with 2 X Factors. It's crazy.
It's so crazy.
So it's definitely one that you can sink a lot of time into. I don't know if it has like any like tutorial modes. Like it has the story mode, but I don't know if it gives any like in-depth tutorials. But yeah, it's definitely one that you can pick up and play, and there's a lot to it.
I'm trying to remember if there is a tutorial mode because I've been playing this game for a long time.
Yeah.
When you dug it back out, Mecha, I was all like, oh yeah, that was a pretty good pick.
But I'm just waiting for the sequel because it's a really good game. It's definitely more support.
I can't imagine. Is there any like hintings of one? I can't imagine it.
No, probably not. No.
Yeah, I was like, I can't imagine it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's just suddenly the resurgence. I wouldn't say no to it.
No, for sure.
But yeah, another fantastic pick there, Mecha. And Blue, back to you, bud.
So, I was actually thinking Marvel 3.
All right, Marvel 3.
So the reason that I bring that up is it's actually the first time I started taking fighting games super seriously.
I guess it was, wasn't it?
So I know for sure that it works for that, because it definitely is. Like, even like to this day, I can still feel the muscle memory of like my Ryu. And it's also unique in a few ways, where it does have the traditional like fighting game of like inputs, but it has a lot that you can do without that. Because again, I can speak from experience. So, and having a dedicated button to launching in the air with hit stun is really nice as well, because you can do your weak, medium, high, then use it, and then jump weak, medium, high, and then just do the special button,
and it feels really good.
Yeah, and that works. And then you can also do it again, like press the button again to switch to another character while also using a special. It's a waste of meter, it's not optimal, but it's still a good entryway to be able to do that kind of thing. And this was also something that I was going to mention with Smash Bros. So I don't know if games come with it pre-installed now. I think they do. There's a mode that they added post-release called Heroes and Heralds mode. And in it, you can actually customize the stats of your characters. And in Smash Bros, you can do that too. And with that, it allows for somebody who might be struggling in certain aspects to be able to kind of give themselves a handicap while still being able to practice in a pretty low stress environment. So you can give yourself a little more health, or you can give yourself a little bit more starting meter, or a little more defense to take a few hits if you're not very good at block strings while practicing. It's also, I'm sure it's in other fighting games, but it's the first time I noticed that it had a mode dedicated to showing you and teaching you the combos and the bread and butters of every character. Where you play it, it shows the move order, and you copy it and being able to execute it. So you don't have to necessarily look up a guide, list, or things like that. And so that's what also helped me learn some of the bread and butters of characters by going through that challenge mode and going through the list, because it also forces you to use all your specials as well. So that way, like, even though it's like, well, what kind of combo is that? It forces you to interact with your tools that I would mention. So, I thought it was a very good entry point, and there's a ton of characters as well.
Oh yes.
So you'll find the ones you like, and because you can have a team of 3 and able to switch out, and there's lots of different ways to switch out, it's really good for playing with friends. Not necessarily like online. It is like probably the worst game to play with like pros. I remember my brother wanted to so me and my brother started playing, and we were like getting really good at it, practicing and doing that thing I mentioned before of making each other improve through like rivalry. Well, he wanted to introduce one of his friends to it, and this guy so the guy picked it up first time in his life, and this dude does a touch of death on him, and
oh my gosh,
the very first, and he's like, this game's not very fun.
I couldn't play it all. All I did was get hit.
I need to touch the controller.
I'm like, no, that's not how you introduce somebody to the game. And that happened as well to one of my friends at my trade school with Fighter Z. Like, we were showing them the game, and my friend just decided to just touch of death him, and he never played again. He just was so soured by it. I'm just like, yeah, don't do that.
Gosh, why was your trade school such a cage match?
Yeah, and so I'm just sitting there like, man, that's crazy. Yeah, so like, no, so from personal experience, and again, it was also where there was lots of resources online. It was the first time that I actually looked up like YouTube videos to help me improve with like strategies, mindsets, how to respond, things like that. And so yeah, it was definitely how I was able to get a little bit more into like learning like high level play for fighting games was through that, because it's really fun just on a base level. Like I said, you could like with like Power Rangers, where you can play it like the slow and methodical, because I know like there was never touch of death combos with me and my friends, like ever. Like I play with Primo, and you could get hit and you'll be able to get back up and respond. Just drop that and that's it. And it was also where like every character had different health values, so you would need to kind of like look up that as to kind of like figure out your play style. Like, are you going to play a character that has really low health to where like, well, it doesn't even matter if they touch a death, you just die anyway in a few hits, or someone with a little bit higher but still has a little bit of that agility, or just someone who's just full on, you know, defensive. So, but yeah, it had a lot. It was a really, really good game for introducing someone to it, because, like I said, you can see that natural progression. You know, where, like I said, you can do the typical light, medium, heavy, hit them in the air, light, medium, heavy, and then special. Then you go to the challenge mode because you want to, you know, learn a little bit more about your character. Then you're taking it to training mode to execute it over and over, and then you're playing with your friend. It's such a natural progression, unlike anything else I've seen. That I felt it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, no, like I had the same experience with you, Blue, because of Marvel 3, I went in depth into fighting games, learning about the mechanics and stuff like that. And it took me a long time to figure out that the character in the game that has the lowest health was Jean Grey, and that was one of my mains for the longest time.
Why am I dying so fast?
It'll pay off in the long run, right?
But it was kind of mind blowing just learning that individual characters had this many individual stats.
Yeah, I think it might be the first time I noticed like health. Like, I'm sure most fighting games had like a different in health, but that's the first time it was clearly noticeable for me. Like, I could be wrong, like, of course, but that's when I definitely like first learned about that kind of thing and noticed it.
Yeah, definitely. At least when we first noticed it. Like, you have a point. Like, maybe I was playing like Capcom versus SNK 2 and just didn't really know.
Yeah. Like, you definitely notice the difference between like X23 and like Dante. Like, you definitely notice the difference in health.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, why did that do so much?
Ah, she needs to wear more clothes.
Well, okay, well, hold on, buddy. Let's
hold on. We don't need more defense. I don't know what you're trying to trade right now.
We're going all offense here.
I need this midriff and this offense.
Yeah. Can't mess with her speed stat.
But yeah, pretty similar to Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I do want to talk about Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Yes, I knew it. I knew you were going to bring this up.
I was going to have to bring Tatsunoko versus Capcom just for the obligation that I love Tatsunoko versus Capcom also. And it does have the same, a pretty similar, low, medium, high approach to the combos. And like all the characters in the game have pretty distinct play styles. It's pretty interesting just to try to figure out who works well with how you want to move. And it doesn't quite have like the dedicated button for the launchers, but everybody's launcher is done the same way with the down diagonal hard attack. So it's kind of similar in that way. And of course, you still get to feel really cool just following up the combo and just kind of mixing and repeating, again with a pretty similar progression as what Blue was talking about with Marvel 3. But it has Kashan in it. And I really love but kind of in place of having like a really dedicated launch button, you do have the dedicated striker button where you just press B, then somebody comes in and does the jam with you. And that always feels pretty cool. Just kind of having to figure out who you want to hang out with, because it's only one partner for this one. As opposed to Marvel vs. Capcom 3's multiple. Then you get a full party of 3. But in TVC, I guess you might be able to say it's a little bit more simple. Just having to juggle 2 characters as opposed to 3. Possibly. Although considering
the game just came out for the Wii, it is the best fighting game on the Wii besides Smash.
It is. And you might be able to make the argument that it is better than Brawl. Maybe. Depends on you. Brawl doesn't have Kashan in it.
Well, it's also, like I mentioned, with completely different genres too. So like somebody like Student Fighters, like very different. So that could definitely fit. Even 3D fighters would probably prefer Tatsunoko.
Yeah, possibly. I guess.
But then there's the right choice of Bleach fighting game on the Wii.
That's true. There was Bleach. I'm not sure. Did I ever try the Bleach one with you? No, I think the only Bleach fighting game I tried with Blue might have been the one for the DS.
Yeah, the 2v2 fighter.
Yeah, which was also pretty interesting in itself.
I do have the Bleach game for the Wii in my Wii collection.
Yeah, I think it's Shattered Blade, right?
Shattered Blade.
That was, God, man, I love playing Yachiru.
And speaking of Bleach, they just announced a new Bleach fighting game coming soon.
Did they really?
Oh yeah, it is an arena fighter, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I do like the fact that Bleach is somehow staying relevant.
Yes.
You can actually still go into a middle school and find kids still reading Bleach, which I was kind of surprised to see.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll I wonder what it would take for Tatsunoko to get at least like virtual console or something.
I need that some capacity. Like the only downside to Tatsunoko versus Capcom, in my opinion, is the fact that it is just kind of stuck on the Wii. But I guess kind of what helps with having Tatsunoko versus Capcom as your entry point might be the fact that you might already own a Wii, because the Wii was a very popular system.
I did heard that Tatsunoko vs. Capcom so much better in the US and Europe than in Japan.
That's weird. But I mean,
that's weird.
That's weird. What's wrong? No Tatsunoko fans in Japan? Well, you see, everybody in the US wanted to go in and play a speed racer. They couldn't. But yeah, definitely I think Tatsunoko versus Capcom still pretty solid entry point for many of the reasons that Blue mentioned earlier. Also has Kashan. It can play his role. Can't actually play his role that much. But anyway, enough about me talking about Kashan. Mecha.
Okay.
What do you got, man?
So mine is another 3v3 game.
All right, let's see it.
It is Skullgirls. I love this game so much.
Oh, Skullgirls. Interesting. It's a very bouncy game.
A lot of physics, yes. Especially since it's hand-drawn, which is amazing.
That does really make a lot of difference in the way it looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like looking at that game. It's a good looking game.
Yeah, a lot of Newgrounds animators went in for that one.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is the true indie project right there.
Oh yeah, I want to say most of it was like coordinated at Newgrounds, because it was a lot of really popular artists and animators there that all like collaborated. I looked at at least one source for the Tatsunoko sales, and you weren't kidding. It's sold 10 times better in North America, if this is to be believed.
Goodness gracious.
Like North America outsold all of the world combined. If this site's to be believed. That's insane.
It's truly the America's Capcom versus game.
There's a whole lot of red and white and blue.
The game with Yatterman in it is the one that was the most popular in America. I like that. I like that data. That's good data.
The only reason why I know that fact is because every time I listen on the opening for Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, there's a comment down below that said it's so much better, and that's how I learned about it.
just a guy just like, by the way,
it's so much better.
By the way, America loves this game more than Japan.
Quantifiably.
Anyway. Okay, back to Skullgirls. I think Skullgirl in general is the most, especially in sales, like the Steam sales, is the most cheapest fighting game to buy. I think it costs about $3.
Ooh. And you could pay $3 and it still has a community that's active?
Yeah.
That is pretty impressive.
Yes.
Relatively speaking. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's Tatsunoko versus Capcom in America, but I mean...
Yeah, this is where the drama does kind of tie. They go out of their way to, like, really get mad at the, like, fans, and it's really hurt how many people are still sticking with the game. But it does, like, because of how huge it was, it does have all of those resources that, like, some of these other games have that are still there. Like, it's not like they're going and deleting, you know, all these like guides, tips, tricks, tournament feeds, gameplay feeds. Like, there's a lot you can do, and with its system of picking between 1 to 3 characters for your team, and it affecting your health, there's a lot of like ways that, so like if like one of the like intimidating factors for like the 3v3 fighters is, you know, I'm really bad at using my allies for extending combos. It is like my worst trait. I almost never do it. That's not an issue in Skullgirls, where I don't even have to worry about that, and I get like I think it's like 2.5 times your health bar or something like that, and instead of having 3 characters. So you can do that where like, okay, I'm just good with just focusing on 1 character, 1 skill set, that's it. So like, it has that going for it.
And in Skullgirls, I can play as a Christina V character, and that's a pretty big up. I can only pretty much do that in, I think, also BlazBlue. Not sure.
BlazBlue.
Yeah. Noelle is definitely one of my first Christina V roles that I remember. Is Christina V in Phantom Breaker?
No.
I know Xanthi is. That's pretty cool.
He's like, all right, going to Steam, not recommended.
Not recommended. Should get Christina V. Blue Infinity 22 is an idiot for recommending a game without Christina V.
There's just going to be like an awkward like cut in the middle of the. I wonder what was there. It's like poorly cut too, so it's just like like it's in the middle of it cuts to another sentence.
But yeah, no, Skullgirls is still pretty fun. Just kind of trying to get into, because like each character, pretty similar to what I was saying for TBC, has a very distinct like play style to them.
Yeah.
So, really just kind of choose what really melds with you. But yeah, pretty solid there, Mecha. And Blue, what else are you thinking?
Another one that I thought was very accessible for like getting into, well, actually I guess there's kind of 2, because I played these at the same time period. Persona 4 Arena and Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Okay.
Both of them I really got kind of into to try to learn more and more about it. They play very different, and so it's kind of like down to like your preference, where one is clearly anime fighter and the other one's more grounded, like with Street Fighter.
And it does have Ling Xiaoyu in it.
It does.
And probably at her most like the highest she's been in a meta.
Oh yeah, I know she was pretty high up there in Tekken 8 as soon as she does the Phoenix squat.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Tekken 8's that, yeah, because like 2D really helped a lot of these like characters stand out, where I'm sure the opposite would have happened if Tekken vs Street Fighter ever happened. Yeah. Persona 4 Arena, there's a lot of options that the characters have. So like with the addition of having personas, it gives characters tools that you usually wouldn't see in such a character. Like with like the speedy up close character, his persona allows him to have some ranged attacks as well, with like being able to throw out wind in the middle of it, which launches them in the air, and then you can quickly react to getting more stuff. Or like the Dragon Punch character having a lightning bolt that trails the ground and hits low, Like it gives you a lot of options that you wouldn't think of, which makes it a lot more unique character gameplay than you would normally see in some other like anime fighters. And because of that as well, there's a health bar as well for the personas, where it's more like strikes, where 5 strike, if your persona gets hit 5 times, they're gone for like, I think it's like 25 seconds or something like that. So you essentially lose half your command list. So it really adds that a risk versus reward, where it allows you to punish sloppy play, as well as it being something to encourage you to be a little more mindful of what you're doing. So it kind of, again, the natural word comes in. It naturally gets you in the mindset of playing a little bit more careful than you might button mash otherwise. And I think it's also the first time I experienced auto combos was in Persona 4 Arena. And it was, I think it probably was one of the earliest examples of it, because I know it caused a lot of arguments, more than I've seen in any other since. But the auto combos are a default combo. They're usually shorter, and they do way less damage than if you were to do it yourself. And it also allows for people who might be pretty bad at taking advantage of openings to be able to at least start an auto combo. You interrupt it yourself using other attacks and then going into your own combo. So it's just to get that confirm, which is what I used to use it for as well, was to get that confirm out of it. And so again, it kind of gives that natural progression of you going from doing auto combos to using it to help you confirm into something, because you know it's going to guaranteed land that beginning part of the auto combo. So then you can go into your own thing. And I think it's also one of the first for having extra defensive options, where it allows you to go into the background of the stage for like a few frames to like a melee sidestep and go to the other side of the character. But it's very dangerous to just do raw because it's very slow. But it is very useful when someone's just throwing out that raw attack from long range, and it just allows you to sidestep it. So yeah, with Persona 4 Arena, it's definitely one that I noticed that. And then with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, at the same time, it gave you a bit more of the fundamentals that you don't necessarily, or at least it's not as impactful for you to not understand. Like, neutral is a lot more important in like a Street Fighter game than in an anime fighter. Like I'm sure at high level you could argue, but for general, I think that's not like a hot take.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so with that, it taught me a lot, because I used to always like take advantage of some of the resources to be able to really get in anime fighters, whereas in Street Fighter Cross Tekken you can't do that. It's very easy for you to get punished with in like having a poor neutral. But Street Fighter Cross Tekken also had that feature that I mentioned with Smash and Ultimate Marvel, that you can actually customize your character a bit to adjust their stats, and you can even they even would have gems that you could add that make inputs more forgiving, which is, I think, very huge for people who might be getting introduced to fighting games and struggling with nailing inputs in time. And so that is a very big one, I think, is worth mentioning with that kind of thing.
I will say that Street Fighter Cross Tekken is no longer available on PC.
It's not?
What? Yeah,
because
there's a million used copies out there, but what?
it's because that game requires the live service, and that's not a thing since the early 2000s.
But you can't play the physical version either?
Oh no, you can play it. You can play. No, I'm just saying the PC version, you can no longer play it. The console version, yes, you could.
Oh, I see. Like to start it on PC, you need to. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for Persona, they just re-released the arena games like this year or last year, I forget.
Yeah, it was very recent.
Yeah, very recent.
Yeah.
It's at least available for modern consoles.
Yes, I have it on my Switch as we speak.
I'm turning it on and playing it right now.
and it also has like a really incredible voice cast, and the story mode is a visual novel, like all the way through.
I can play as Johnny Young Bosch again.
Yeah,
yes.
you can.
Yeah. So it's a very, very, and the aesthetics for Persona 4 Arena is really good.
Those are some really good sprites.
Yeah, like, it's very nice. Like people will even use them on forums still to this day as well. So, and I know some of them would use them as emotes in Twitch as well. Like they would modify them. So I think actually my I forgot I did this. My moderator symbol on my Twitch channel is actually Yosuke's kunai from Persona 4 Arena. I edited him out of it and put it and like tilted it and put it as the Twitch sword for the moderator symbol. So it's actually the kunai from Yosuke. It doesn't really look like, because it's so small, but
and it doesn't have Yosuke on it.
Yeah, it's probably why I forgot that I did that. But yeah, it's Yosuke's kunai from Persona 4 Arena.
Yeah, Arena was actually the first Persona game I ever played.
Yeah, it's a great way of like adding interest or intrigue, like okay, wanting to learn more about these characters. But yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, either the first one or the or Ultimax, I think it's Ultimax. It actually takes place after the audio drama, which
specifically
is like
the audio drama.
Yeah, like because I was sitting there because it literally brings up a character I've never heard of before, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I've played every almost every Shin Megami Tensei game, and I do not remember this lady's name, and they're acting like I should know her.
It's like, who are you?
Yeah, so I looked her up, and she's like, yeah, she's from the audio drama, because Naoto and Mitsuru have like audio dramas, like multiple of them.
I'm pretty sure that's how Kingdom Hearts characters feel about Namine. Where did you come from?
Yeah,
didn't you read the book?
And apparently, like Mega Man fans relate to this because, like, apparently half of the Zero series is canon is from the audio dramas.
Really?
Yeah, and they're fully voice acted and everything. And so, like, people who like do like Mega Man like retrospectives, they have to include the audio dramas because like it literally answers and like fills in the gaps that like are plot holes that are there in the Game Boy Advance games. They just couldn't fit it in there. And I'm just like, that is insane. And so yeah, Persona 4 Arena does that too. It's my first experience with what's an audio drama. I'm like, wow. I can see why these are really popular. Like, I kind of wish we had more of these.
Yeah, I do think that P4 was just revolutionary in bringing in casual people that were want to get into fighting games. So it is kind of a pretty.
Yeah, I know it's probably less of a hot take now, but I do think the auto combos was such a great idea for bringing people in.
Oh yeah, it's a brilliant idea for bringing people in and having the defensive options kind of universally for like anybody to have like the counters.
Is Arena the first time Arc System Works allowed for a rechargeable burst?
I don't know.
I know the first Blaze Blue did not allow it. You had one, that's it. But I don't remember if Continuum Shift had it, because I think Arena came after Continuum Shift. But I do know that it was really like strange seeing it allowing more than one burst in a game. I was like, that's really cool. Again, adding it to where it's like it's not so punishing that like it's like, well, I guess the rest of the game is already done. Just the first round.
I'm pretty sure the burst in Guilty Gear X2 was rechargeable, but whether or not you actually have enough time to recharge it,
yeah, it was very slow. But yeah, it definitely. But it also like allowed for like it. If you could use one early, and you wouldn't be like completely ruined as well. Like it could add a strategy to when like you mess up at the start, you don't want to like let them get that initial lead, so you just go ahead and you're not worried to use it early. To where like you're putting yourself in a terrible position for late game.
I mean, it's still a pretty bad idea to waste it, but
yeah,
you're not just 100% bone zoned.
Yeah, so it's yeah, I think it added a lot of really nice features to allowing people to kind of get introduced to the fighting game genre with a lot of really nice beginner-friendly options. And I think it also had the challenge mode that I mentioned as well, where it shows a lot of the combos that fit for the characters, even to where they would even include the auto combo and show you what the attacks actually are, like if they hit mid, if they hit high, if they hit low. So like it was very nice. It helped a lot to learning about like bread and butters, learning what even that term meant. So yeah, I think Persona 4 Arena helped me a lot in trying to get better.
Yeah, and it did kind of pave the way for a lot of other franchises to make fighting games more accessible to new players.
Yeah,
I think anyway. So whether people at the time liked the idea of auto combos and other such features to make fighting games more accessible to new players, it's still the thing that worked and that people build upon. So again, I think Persona P4A and Ultimax pretty good, pretty good pick. I didn't get to be Johnny and Bosch.
And it gives a neutral option for someone who does needs to mash in desperation out of something. As I said, just mashing random buttons, you just mash the auto combo, which again could help the opponent realizing, oh, I know what this is. So I think it brings a lot more control to the pace as opposed to just like throwing stuff out. Like it gives more of a intent to what you're doing. So, which I think is just only positive.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, and I think we are down for me and my last pick because we are starting to run out of time. And oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Anyway, because I'm like looking at my notes and I'm like, what? Whatever. I was definitely writing this at 1 a.m. once. But my last pick for recommendations for getting into fighting games is Touhou 7.5 Immaterial and Missing Power. One of the Touhou.
I was just thinking that. You took the words right out. I was thinking, all right, like beginner fighting game. Yeah, thank you.
What was I thinking with this one? It's a fun game.
Oh, what?
7.5.
Touhou 7.5.
Yeah,
right.
the whenever
that is adorable.
Whenever there is a Touhou fighting game, it's always going to be it's always going to be a 0.5.
Okay.
Because it's like kind of spinning off of the main title.
This is where Mugen took all of their sprites from.
It is where Mugen got every one of the sprites from. So this Touhou fighting game, I think, is the most accessible in my opinion because spacing and inputs are the most akin to a regular fighting game. But there is the added ability to like kind of fly around, which adds to a different flavor to the whole spacing game, just having that whole element of things that are up there. But as opposed to like the most recent fighting game, it's not all you do. But it's also really interesting in how it handles projectiles and how you're kind of just able to run through them, and the inputs feel pretty good. It had a very I remember it being very low, middle, high as well, pretty similar to like TVC and such.
That reminds me of something actually,
even though I'm pretty sure it predated TVC and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 by a pretty good margin, a few years I think. But it's full of cute girls, so why wouldn't you want to play this? Why wouldn't you want to play this as your indoctrination into fighting games?
It's got great visual effects too.
Yeah, the visual effects, honestly, like the visual and sound effects are all very satisfying. So like just the general presentation, like the art style looks fantastic, both in just the regular portraits and in the sprites and the very 2005 CG backgrounds. Just very visually appealing. One of the most like I talked about a little bit, the way you use projectiles in this game, you can kind of just dash through them. It's just it's the full like graze mechanic, where you can either use an attack that dashes forward or just make your character dash forward. So you are constantly dealing with having to get through a barrage of bullets, just as a just kind of as a concept coming out of like a bullet hell franchise. It's really interesting to see in a fighting game space. It feels really like before there was like a huge DBZ fighting game. There was this game, which makes you feel like a DBZ character with all the projectiles. And with Marissa with her Master Spark that looks like a Kamehameha wave. Feels pretty good. It's not the most complex fighting game, but it's also not the most simplistic, but I feel like it's pretty easy to pick up, and it could be your indoctrination into the greater Touhou community, which
there's a lot.
So I never played this game, and I had to look it up, and the sprite work looks good all these years. Dang it.
Yeah,
you've been missing out, Mecha. You could have started playing fighting games already. But yeah, I think that is all we have time for this episode. But before we leave, Mecha, if people need more Mecha 64 Zilla in their lives, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube. You can also, if you want to see me play fighting games live and see the struggles, I play on Twitch weekly, 3 times a week.
Awesome. Well, be sure to go follow him there. Also, if we need more Blue Infinity 22, where can we find it?
YouTube and Twitch, Blue Infinity 22.
As it always is. And of course, you can follow us here by subscribing to this channel, Pixel Smacchan, or you could find more Action Smacchan on the Action Smacchan main channel at youtube.com at Action Smacchan. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, both at Action Smacchan. But yeah, Mecha, thank you so much for joining us in this episode. It's been so fantastic having you here. And to everybody else, thank you all for being here. And we will see you in the next Smacchan Pact adventure.